Welcome back into Ben Talks Utah Hockey. I'm Ben, your host for the podcast on everything Utah Hockey Club. From game previews, post-game breakdowns, player highlights, stats, and storylines, this podcast is your ultimate guide to Utah's newest hockey team. We'll dive into the big moments, key plays, rising stars who are putting Utah on the map. Whether you're a lifelong hockey fan or a newcomer to the sport, or you're just curious about Utah's growing hockey community, this is the place to be. So lace up your skates, grab your stick, and join me as we hit the ice and talk all things Utah hockey. All right, and with that, this episode is going to be my stars of the week for the past 5 games. And yeah, I've got 3 stars today, and then I've got a couple honorable mentions, and we'll get into it here. So Utah is 3-1-1 in their past 5 games, most recently coming off an OT loss at home to the Anaheim Ducks and a regulation loss versus the Dallas Stars last night on the 23rd. So my first star is Clayton Keller. And he's had 10 points in the last 5 games with 4 goals and 6 assists. One of those goals coming on the power play and 4 of the assists also coming on the power play. He has had a 1 game-winning goal in that stretch versus the San Jose Sharks on the road, and he's averaging about 21 minutes a night, playing a ton of minutes for his team. He's been leading the team well as the captain this year, and he gets my first star of the week for his goal production and leadership of the young Utah team. Really, throughout the month of December, I've noticed him really taking the reins on the offensive side, and he has been driving the play, setting up chances, and burying timely goals when the team needs it. He leads the team in points with 36 points, and he is above that point per game average this season. So he's at 36 points in 34 games. I have liked the toughness and grit that he has showed this week. One example was in last night's game. Barrett Hayton got trucked in front of the Dallas Stars net after the whistle, and Keller was the first one on the scene to jump in for his guy. And you don't often see the captain do that, but it was good to see it. The physical side of the game, it's not really part of his game, but I'd love to see a little bit more of it going forward. The little jabs, the elbows in the ribs, the chippiness, and finishing checks, even if they're not big hits, they really add up over the course of the game. Wearing a team down with those little things and getting under a team's skin is one way that it can help you win the game. And lately, he hasn't had to do that. Like I said, it's not really part of his game, but I would like to see just a little bit more of what I saw last night going forward. Like I said, we saw that just a little bit in the Dallas game, and regardless of the way the team has struggled a little bit in the last 2 games, I think that Keller has been a great leader for his team this year. And it's exciting to see him getting off to another good start in his career. So he gets my first star of the week. Just a ton of point production and really, really playing well on the power play and sticking up for his guys and leading his guys. And I think, yeah, he was a good choice for the captain of this team. My second star of the week is Logan Cooley. Cooley has 6 points in the last 5 games with 1 goal and 5 assists, with his goal coming on the power play. He averages about 18 minutes a night over the past 5 games, and he has been a playmaker for Utah off the rush, creating offensive chances through his great puck handling and his vision on the ice. He's always keeping his feet moving, and he plays aggressively in all zones. He's a presence on the forecheck, and when he needs to backcheck, he does that well too. He makes my star of the week for the second time in a row. It's not hard to notice the young gun out there every night. He did have a mistake in the Anaheim game. penalty that the Ducks ended up capitalizing on to tie the game late in the third, and he ended up sitting out the rest of the game because of it. He came out in a press conference the next day and showed incredible maturity and owned it. He's young and he's got a bright future ahead of him. It's a long season and there's so much hockey left to be played, not only in this season, but in his career. And I think it was a valuable lesson for the entire team at that moment, not just to Cooley, but the whole team, not to take stupid penalties. And that's been a knock that I've had on Utah this entire season, is just bad penalties, bad timing on penalties, and just penalties that you don't want to take. But anyway, I was reading some comments online, and people were saying that Cooley lost them the game, and they were going on and on about how terrible it was. But in reality, it takes the entire team to lose a game, not just one guy. It's not lost on one mistake. It's a team game, and overall, I think Cooley has been playing a great team game. He gets my star of the week for his playmaking ability and his growth this season, and he's almost at that point per game average with 30 points in 34 games with a plus-minus rating of plus 13. So you notice him on the ice every night. He's flying around. He's making things happen off the rush for Utah. And he's been on that power play unit, that first power play unit, and he's really shown on that side of things. He's shown a lot of poise, and this second full season for him, you can tell his game's just his game isn't different, but the game is slowed down for him, and he's able to make those decisions with the puck, and he just stick handles really well, and he's got great vision out there, and he makes a lot of things happen offensively for his team and his line mates there on that second line with Gunther and McBain, and they've been a treat to watch this year. So he gets my second star of the week, and that moves us into my third star of the week. Before I get into my honorable mentions, we got to go over the third star of the week, and it's Mikhail Sergachev. Sergachev also has 6 points in the last 5 games with 1 goal, 5 assists, and his goal coming in that OT winner versus Vancouver. He's logging around 28 to 29 minutes a night for an insane average, and he's been the backbone of the defensive pairings. His plus-minus rating over the past 5 is at an even rating, but I wouldn't get too caught up in that stat based on the minutes he plays each night. He's on the penalty kill, the power play, and he's out there in overtime. He does have a plus 6 rating on the year, and that is positive for the defenseman. They're asking a lot of him each night, and you can see why. He is a playmaker when he has to be and a defensive presence when he needs to be. He has had some risky turnovers as of late, but it's not enough to knock him off this list for the week. You'd like to see him at times have a little bit more awareness with the puck when he's trying to make a pass and break out of the defensive zone. And in my opinion, there are times he could be reading the ice a little bit better, but that's a small thing to nitpick for the job he's been doing this year. He gets my star of the week for his pure toughness, leadership, and leadership of that defensive core, and the way the team relies on him at the blue line to get points, but also play that 200-foot game every night and play a ton of minutes. They really rely on Mikhail back there, and they should. I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money to play in Utah, and he wanted that first line role, and he's definitely getting his fair share here in Utah. And he's really been a great defensive player that they've needed for Utah. The thing I worry about with him is, can he stay healthy throughout the course of this year? With logging the minutes he does on a nightly basis, I just hope that he can get some rest over this Christmas break and come in with some fresh legs for the game against Colorado, and then the Canadian swing of away games that we've got coming up. So It's good to see him out there and getting that overtime goal late in the overtime period versus the Canucks. He's had a pretty good week, so he gets my third star of the week. Moving on to my honorable mentions before I get to looking ahead in the games we've got coming up. Kevin Stenlund, he gets an honorable mention. His faceoffs have been crucial, and he's producing on that fourth line, and he has been a nice addition to Utah this year. He has 2 points in the last 5 games with 1 goal and 1 assist, averaging about 14 minutes of ice per night. He's really been a great center and a great pickup for Utah on that fourth line. He fits in really well, and he gives that fourth line that a defensive presence, because he's out there on penalty kills, and he's taken all the important face-offs when they need that right-handed face-off to be won, and he's doing a really good job for his team. My second honorable mention is Olli Mata. He has 1 point in the last 5. He's not a guy that you're going to see get on the score sheet every night, but he does all the little things right, and he makes a ton. He plays a ton of minutes. He's on that pairing with Mikhail Sergachev, and he brings that veteran presence and stability to the blue line. He has been a nice addition this year, coming over in that trade with Detroit. They said it on the broadcast last night, like, he's not a sexy player. He's not gonna wow you with what he can do with the puck, but he does the little things right, and I would agree. I mean, he's not one that you notice, but he's involved in every play, offensively, defensively. Much like Sergachev, he plays a 200-foot game, and if he needs to jump up into the rush, he will. He's not afraid to go into the corner, get the puck, or carry it in across the blue line. He's not like, oh, I need to just get rid of this puck and dump it in. Like, he'll carry it across the blue line and try to set something up. So he's been another bright spot on that defensive core. So, and that leads me into my final honorable mention, Karel Vejmelka. How could you not mention this guy? He's the last line of defense for the squad. He's gone 4-1 in the last 5 games he's started, bringing his record to 8-8-2 with a .917 save percentage and a 2.33 goals against average. He's having a great month and a great stretch of his last 5 games that he started. Even with that loss to Dallas most recently, he's keeping his team in every game, and he's giving them a chance to win every night that he's in net. He's really done a good job this year. He's a big athletic goaltender. He's been staying home in his crease a lot better than he was in previous seasons, and he's really upped his game this year in a contract year for him. You just love to see Veggie back there in the net. He gives them a chance to win every night. He's keeping it at that 2.33 goals against, so he's averaging just about 2 goals a game. And when a team is only scoring 2 goals a night, you're giving your team a chance to win. Like, you got to score in the NHL, and you got to capitalize on power plays, and he's played well over this past month. He's really, really had a nice stretch, and hopefully he can continue that into the next few games and into this road stretch that we've got coming up. So, looking ahead to the next few games, we've got Colorado at home on the 27th, and we've got Seattle in an away game, Edmonton in an away game, Calgary in an away game, and Dallas in an away game. Those are the next 5 games coming up. They're all Western Conference matchups with a couple of Central matchups, and they're all key points in the race for the playoffs and that wild card spot. If Utah can sneak in there, can they get it done on the road with some points? We'll see. They have been playing really well on the road as of late, winning their last 7 road games, I believe. And so we'll see. Look for them to try to bounce back at home versus the Avalanche. They did beat the Avalanche previously, um, a week or two ago, and look for them to shake off those last two losses that they had with that sour taste in their mouth, and look for them to come out really hot and play a complete game versus the Avalanche. You'd really like to see them play 3 full periods of solid hockey, minimize their mistakes and their turnovers, and capitalize on the chances that they get on the power play and killing off penalties when they get those as well. Not taking any stupid penalties, giving Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon a chance to really fly on that power play. You want to keep those guys at bay if you can. So those are my stars of the week, some honorable mentions, and just looking ahead to the next couple of games. We'll see what Utah can do finishing up here in December and on into the new year. This is Ben Talks Utah Hockey. I appreciate you guys listening. You can hit me up on any of my social channels, Ben Talks Utah Hockey or Ben Talks Utah HC on X. And yeah, get involved and let me know what your thoughts are as well. I'd like to read some comments. So please, if you're listening, comment on an episode, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you watch on YouTube, send me a comment there and a like. It helps the channel. So I appreciate you listening this far, and we'll see you on the next one.